Army. They are the RPG-2 and RPG-7 anti-tank grenade launchers. The designation RPG is derived from the Russian weapon classification system, in which R means handheld, P means anti-tank, and G means grenade. You will see the captured weapons being fired against sandbag targets and other materials, and the effects of these test firings. The RPG-7 anti-tank grenade launcher, which is at present the standard small unit anti-tank weapon in the Soviet Army. Its use by the VC is increasing. Fired against this sandbag target. The RPG-2 and a Chinese copy of it are being used extensively by the VC. It was developed after World War II by the Soviets and has been replaced by the RPG-7, here fired against the target. There can be little doubt that these would be formidable weapons when used against unprotected and unsupported sandbag constructions. The target is 6 feet by 6 feet at the bottom and 4 feet by 4 feet at the top. It is made of sandbags filled with laterite sand. This weapon is actually a Chi-Com copy of the RPG-2 called the Type 56. The sights on the launcher are graduated to 150 meters. The weapon is percussion fired by the hammer and trigger mechanism you see here. The PG-2 projectile for the Type 56. It contains a shaped charge warhead initiated by a base detonating fuse. To load the RPG-2, the propellant stick is removed from its container. The protective cap is removed from the rear of the projectile, and the two are screwed together. The launcher is checked to make sure the tube is clear. An obstruction can be disastrous. The safety catch is placed in the on position. The round is placed in the muzzle of the weapon and pushed down. The sights are raised, and the weapon can be fired after cocking the hammer and pushing the safety catch to the off position. A slow motion shot of the firing of the Type 56. Note the large amount of smoke and the relatively high trajectory of the round, which has a velocity of just over 90 meters per second. It was actually in flight for about 1 second. The range to the target is 100 meters. The maximum range of the RPG-2 is 600 meters when fired at 45 degrees. Due to the high trajectory and the crude sights, the point target range is 150 meters or less. It is difficult to hit a point target beyond 50 meters due to the high trajectory. The PG-2 round in flight. Notice the relatively high trajectory that the round must follow to hit a target at 100 meters. An unsupported sandbag target 4 feet thick at the bottom and 2 feet thick at the top. Chain link fence and pierced steel plank have been placed 4 feet in front of the target to test the effect of the round on them. A fragmentation board has been placed 7 feet behind the target to record any penetration. One round is fired at the target. Although it collapsed the left side, it did not penetrate. The hole in the chain link is approximately 17 inches in diameter. In this case, the effect of the shaped charge was apparently decreased by the round passing through the chain link. The target was penetrated to a depth of 36 inches. The RPG-2 will now be fired at the target with PSP erected in front of it. This round did not penetrate the target. It made a hole 36 inches deep and 12 inches in diameter at the front. In this test, nylon net was placed in front of the target. It had little or no effect on the RPG-2 projectile, which passed through the net and detonated on the sandbags. The round simply made an 80mm hole in the net. The hole can be observed in the lower centre of the net. There appear to be two holes, as the net was doubled where the round struck. There can be little doubt that this round penetrated the target. The hole in the fragmentation board is 2 inches by 3/4 of an inch. This sandbag target is much more substantial than the others. The spot on the nylon net was used for zeroing. The sandbags are 4 feet thick and are backed by boards 2 inches by 6 inches. The target is supported at the corners by 4-inch square posts. The RPG-2 is being fired at the target with no standoff material erected. This shot was made with the high-speed camera at the target. Note that the supported sandbags withstood the explosion much better than the unsupported sandbags used in the earlier trial. Unsupported sandbags would probably have collapsed. Penetration is complete. The jet penetrated 4 feet of sandbags and the 2-inch thick wooden backing. In the previous test using chain link standoff material, the chain link was vertical. It had been suggested that if the chain link was slanted, it would perhaps deflect the round and the effect of the shaped charge downwards. The top of the chain link is 4 feet from the target and the bottom 7 feet from the target. Frame-by-frame examination of this high-speed sequence indicates that the round was not diverted at all. The hole made in the slanted chain link by the last RPG-2 round. This round did not go through the target. The depth of penetration was 36 inches. The RPG-7. It was developed from the RPG-2 and has greater range and accuracy. It has the same firing mechanism as the RPG-2 or Type 56. The excellent optical sight. The container on the side is the battery box for the illuminated reticle. The propellant stick is packed in a protective container, much like the RPG-2 propellant stick. To load the weapon, the propellant stick is unpacked, the protective cover removed from the projectile, and the two screwed together. The bore is checked for obstructions. There is an expansion chamber in the center of the weapon. The safety catch is pushed to the on position and the round is inserted into the launcher. The safety wire and safety cap must be removed. The weapon is ready to fire when the hammer is cocked and the safety catch pushed to the off position. The RPG-7 being fired. This round is rocket-assisted and has a tracer armament. The rocket motor gives the round a velocity of over 300 meters a second. The RPG-7 round has a piezoelectric fusing system which arms on firing. It has a self-destruct device that will destroy the round after approximately 4 seconds flight. This test is for maximum range. Consequently, the rounds are passing well over the target. A side view of the round in flight. Notice the rocket motor cut in at 11 meters from the firing point. Note the flat trajectory of the RPG-7 round. An RPG-2 round fired for comparison. Notice the differences in the trajectory. Here is the maximum range firing filmed at normal speed. The detonation occurred at 920 meters. The self-destruct device destroyed the round just before impact would have occurred. To demonstrate the self-destruct effect, the elevation was increased to give this definite air burst. If the elevation is increased to 45 degrees, the round will airburst at 2,300 feet altitude at a slant range of 900 meters from the firing point. The first round fired from the RPG-7 against vertical chain link standoff material. Apparently, when the nose of the projectile passed through one of the gaps in the chain link, the resulting distortion shorted out the piezoelectric crystal and prevented detonation. This did not always occur. We will fire the RPG-7 against the target using no standoff material. You can see that the fuse functions on the sandbags. The round was aimed at the right side, where there was a sandbag depth of 96 inches. It penetrated to a depth of 90 inches. This round was fired at the center of the target. This is the exit hole. Vertical chain link has now been placed in front of the target. Note that the fuse of this round failed to function, apparently because it was shorted out by the fence. The same shot filmed in slow motion. This is the result. If the nose fuse of the projectile strikes a fence post or one of the wires of the chain link, it will detonate, as you see here. This occurred many times during the test fire. The steel boom cracked the 2-inch by 6-inch backing board, but did not penetrate it. Slanted chain link standoff material was also tested during the RPG-7 firings. The bottom of the chain link is 7 feet from the target and the top is 4 feet from it. The RPG-7 is fired against the chain link. The nose of this round apparently passed through a gap in the chain link and the fuse failed to function. The steel boom passed through the target and hit the ground behind it. The same shot in slow motion. The hole made in the chain link is much smaller than that made by RPG-2. The round damaged the front of the target, but penetration did not occur. Sometimes the self-destruct element in the RPG-7 detonates in the sandbags. Most of the effect is dissipated by the surrounding sandbags or through the entry hole. This film has been shown to you for the express purpose of enabling you to appreciate the capabilities of rocket-type weapons being used by the BC and North Vietnamese Army in South Vietnam.